Hello, welcome to the Cluster API v1.10 release team weekly meeting. We get together every week to check in on how the CAPI release is going. We are a sub-project of SIG Cluster Lifecycle, and therefore we abide by their rules of conduct, which boils down to let's make this a welcoming, friendly place and try not to talk over each other. With that out of the way, um, I'll move on to the agenda, but if anybody has anything at all, please feel free to interrupt me. There's not a lot of us here and we don't have a lot on the agenda, so you don't have to be strict or anything. Please add your name to the attendees list if you feel like doing so. And first, Chris, how's it going with the CI team?
Um, Nothing major to report yet. I did submit a fix yesterday to hopefully reduce some flakiness on some of the upgrade tests. Uh, that was a couple of the flaky test issues that were hanging out there in the GitHub issues tab. So after digging into them, Christian suggested of just adjusting the flake on those two tests, which we're giving that a go and seeing if that makes a difference. Other than that, no real changes. CI signal looks all right. I think something in the 1.7 series had a bunch of failures yesterday, but it looks like a one-off infrastructure type thing, but we'll see. Um, and that's it.
Great. So, so if I'm understanding it right, we haven't really uncovered any brand new flakes, and we may have fixed some old ones, some existing ones.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's great. Cool. There's nothing else about CI. I would move on to the comms team, but Chandan says he can't make it today because he's traveling and internet is flaky. Don't know if anyone here has anything there, but basically, I think the only task so far on the board for the comms team has been to communicate that we did the patch releases, and I know he did that. So I don't know. We will check in with him next time, or I'll get with him when he's back. Yeah, and the next thing on the agenda is check in here on the big board. Um, we are right in here, week 4, I guess, week 5. No specific tasks outlined except the ongoing stuff, and it looks like we're in decent shape. I need to make another pass just to make sure I didn't miss any deprecated code, but I think that was the only thing that was marked. Um, yeah, that's it for that. We can look at the improvement board, but as I was mumbling about in the previous meeting, and it looks like we're actually going to talk about it at the CAPI meeting that's coming up in a few minutes. It seems like the maintainers have decided they want to change the release schedule overall. It's not a done deal yet, but based on the way Fabrizio was talking about, I think it probably will be after the CAPI meeting coming up. Uh, so what would happen, I think, for us is the 110 schedule would get compressed by about a month, so it'd be much shorter. In order to make the 111 schedule start earlier and maybe also last longer, because the idea is the V2, V1 beta 2 API that we're going to introduce might be a little premature for this release. Want to give it longer time to sit. And so anyway, I think that's the proposal on the floor is the schedule the cycle we're all in right now might compress and the subsequent cycle starts earlier and maybe lasts longer. But we'll get specific about that in the next meeting, and then maybe next week we'll have more to talk about, and we'll probably end up adjusting this schedule so it ends more around like week 13 or 14, I think is the idea, maybe even earlier. So I don't know. Anybody have any thoughts about that? I suppose as the release team, if we thought it was a really bad idea, we could push back, but I don't see any problems with it personally. I don't know. Cool. And then next up, we have the improvement board, which I don't think has had any changes. Oh, S-bomb. Is this a new one? Anyway, does anyone have anything we should add here or any updates on any of these items? I don't personally, but if not, I think we have run through the agenda.
I
So,
sorry for
yeah.
cutting in without raising my hand, but I cannot access this improvement board. I received an invitation from you to my other email, but I have this already in my calendar, so maybe that's the thing.
Oh, um,
I believe you need to be in the org to see this.
yeah. It's a project under the Kubernetes SIGs GitHub org, so you may need to be a Kubernetes SIGs member. You may need to be a Kubernetes SIGs member in order to see this.
Mm-hmm.
Since it's
Okay.
just a view of issues, you can kind of just look through the overall issues, which I know there's a lot, but
Mm,
you can search for
yep. I even have
tags
an
that you
idea
are interested in.
yeah, yeah.
And if you want to go through join the Kubernetes SIGs org, we can certainly help with that too.
Okay,
Um,
okay, good to know. Thank you.
Anybody have anything else? Otherwise, we can call it a quick meeting and see you next week. 3, 2, 1. All right. Thanks for coming. See you soon.
Thanks, Matt.
Thanks, folks.